Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. It's Monday and we are back with some more Ikoria teasers. Things are getting crazy out in the world, but rest assured, I've got my valuables all locked up. I'm ready. I'm ready for the times that we're living in. Actually, speaking of kimono and this, at the end of the video, I've got something going on that I would like for you to get involved with. I think it should be fun. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, let us focus on what we are here to talk about. This is another Ikoria teaser video where we're going to talk about little snippets. I've already done 2 videos like this, so you can check those out if you want some more delicious tastes of Ikoria. I know we're all waiting for spoiler season to go into full swing, but that's not going to happen for another about 10 days. So we got about a week and a half before we start to get to sink our teeth into the real meat. So in the meantime, I've got some tiny little bits of meat, delicious, jerky Ikoria teasers just to get your palate ready, all right? Now, for those of you, I know with the other videos that I've put out, people are sometimes like, well, yo, where'd you get this information? So I'll tell you straight up. The information in this video is provided by Gavin Verhees' Instagram. So if you want to go and check out him talking about this or whatever, go and do that. But anyways, let us dive in to these little delicious snippets that we have. The first thing that we have is a hound that generates fetch counters. That's an interesting concept. What does that specifically mean? It could work in a number of different ways, right? Is it something along the lines of whenever this creature attacks or blocks, add a fetch counter to it? Like, first of all, how does it build up fetch counters? Is it something you can do with activation costs? Is it something that happens each turn? Is it something that triggers on this hound being used? And secondly, what do fetch counters get you, right? What can you fetch with this? Does it allow you to fetch a card back from your graveyard? Is it basically like this is some sort of hound that's trained to sniff out and seek artifacts? So once it has a certain number of fetch counters on it, it can go and retrieve artifacts? Is it a rescue style dog? Like, think about one of those big like hounds that go through the snow with the little barrel of booze around their neck. Is it one of those? So it lets you fetch creatures back? Like, the idea is the creature wasn't actually dead. It's like on the brink and that hound has brought it back. Is it fetch in terms of a tutor effect where you can go through your deck for particular cards, right? Like, what does fetch get you? Or is it something a little more off the wall? Is it fetch like it'll actually allow you to go and take one of your opponent's creatures? I mean, could this be a red hound where fetching is actually, go get him, boy, and the hound bites into the arm and like drags him over and it's like, you work for me. You do what I say if you want this dog to stop chewing you up. There's a lot of options. I like it. It is definitely some interesting fuel for the imagination. And again, with this sort of stuff, I'm very much interested in everybody's thoughts on this because I can only think of so many possibilities based mostly on what already exists in Magic's history. And there are a lot of possibilities that I may not have covered. So let me know what you think about each of these items in the comments below if anything pops into your head. The next point on the list is rules text that says, whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, do something. So we don't get to know what that do something is. It could be something as simple as draw a card. Could be something like return a card from your graveyard. But this is something that will trigger on any spell with an X in its cost. So like Electro Dominance, Hydroid Krasis, that awesome Stone Coil Serpent that I use in my green deck. I love that thing, man. The variable power and toughness that you set with X is fantastic because you can just be like, yo, I'll just make them a 1/1 for my crazy beauty. What is the name of that? The awesome Beauty and the Beast storybook character. Loyal Beast? Lordly Beast? No, Noble Beast. It's Noble Beast, right? That's what it is. The one that with the amazing storybook art where you've got like the Beauty and the Beast variant with that crazy stone arch. Oh, that artwork is absolutely gorgeous. But either way, I love that you can use the serpent for that. I mean, I'm getting a little aside on X's here, but whatever. Let's move on to the next point on the list. The next point is a cycle of cards that is a reimagining of an old popular multiplayer cycle. Well, that's interesting. So it's a full-on cycle. Now, the thing about cycles is that can mean multiple things, right? You have cycles that go across all of the colors, like the old school decrees, or in more recent memory, you can think of things like the finales, right? We had a finale for each color. So you can have a cycle that goes across colors, but they also have cycles that exist sometimes just in one color, right? You can get a cycle where it's not necessarily spread evenly. Yesterday's video, we opened up a pack of Judgment, and inside that pack of Judgment, there were multiple blue creatures that were part of the same kind of cycle. I think they might call them vertical and horizontal cycles depending on how they go. You know what I mean? So we can, although that might actually be tied to rarity rather than color now that I think about it. They might consider that like you've got a rare that does this kind of an ability, an uncommon and a common, and they get progressively weaker as you move down to common, right? But I mean, a cycle that's a reimagining of an old popular multiplayer cycle. What are old popular multiplayer cycles? Guys, I'm gonna need some help on this one because I'll be honest, I don't play multiplayer, really. I mean, yes, in the most technical sense, when people like to get really picky and go 2 players multiplayer, when it comes to Magic the Gathering, 3 players or more is multiplayer. So what are old popular multiplayer cycles? As a guy who only plays one-on-one in his cube, I don't have any real, like nothing pops off the top of my head as a popular multiplayer cycle, right? Like that would have to mean that there would be multiple cards in this cycle that hit in multiplayer and people genuinely enjoyed. It couldn't just be like one card out of the cycle people really liked and nobody gave a crap about the rest of them. Could it be like decrees? Are the decrees, are those really popular? Because I mean, the red one wipes out lands, the black one wipes out creatures, the white one makes like a whole bunch of like token creatures, the blue one is a crazy counter one, the green one sucks. Let's be real, the green one is garbage. That one sucks. But whatever. Let me know your thoughts because I genuinely don't have any suggestions for this. The next point is a creature that generates mana you can only use for activated abilities. I have to admit, that feels fairly underwhelming depending on how much mana it generates, right? I mean, 3 mana will get you a creature that taps for 2 mana in a lot of cases. So, like, what is the cost? I mean, if this is a 1 casting cost creature that activates to give you 2, but only for activated abilities, I mean, it makes me think about that one, like, chintzy blue creature that was from M20 that would let you search for, like, the Dragonfire Vial or a bow, and it's like, the card pretty much sucks, you know what I mean? So this, to me, honestly, it doesn't get me super hyped. This one's going to be dependent very much on the casting cost of the creature and how much mana it can generate only for activated abilities. Those kind of cards aren't as big a hit for me. The next point is 8 non-evergreen old mechanics returning. They didn't just hold themselves to mechanics in Ikoria. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. These are mechanics that are going to be in Ikoria, but they didn't hold themselves to mechanics in Ikoria. I'm missing something here. What am I missing? Why doesn't this make sense? Like, seriously, when I read this, like, I'm going to read this out to you. You tell me how this makes sense. 8 non-evergreen old mechanics. And don't get caught up on the non-evergreen. If you don't know what evergreen means, evergreen is stuff like flying, first strike, stuff they put in every set you're always going to see. Double strike, like the standard abilities that are just such an intrinsic part of Magic that they always put them in every set. Non-evergreen is going to be random stuff like flashback, things that aren't always used. So we're looking at 8 old mechanics returning. They didn't hold themselves to mechanics in Ikoria. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just take a look here. Hold on. Oh, okay. I get it now. What we're actually looking at, they are technically Ikoria spoiler teasers, but it's Ikoria Commander deck spoiler teasers. That makes way more sense. Now, when you think of a cycle of cards, that's a reimagining of an old popular multiplayer cycle. That previous point, that's because this is designed for multiplayer. We're dealing with Commander. Oh, okay. That gives a much wider range of what this stuff could be, too. Well, that's cool. All right, so 8 non-evergreen old mechanics are returning with the Ikoria decks. They're not just limiting themselves to what's available in Ikoria. All right, fair enough. I mean, lots of keyword abilities can lead to a lot of fun. The next point on the list, 2 more creature types. A whale wolf? Whale wolf. Would that just be like a wolf the size of a whale? Is it half whale, half wolf? Like, what is it? Is it going to be like a big furry whale that swims in the sea with like major crazy amounts of hair like a mammoth and gigantic wolf fangs? Or is it going to be like a wolf, but its body is all like aquatic and slick, kind of like a hippo's body? That is evocative, honestly. A whale wolf gets the old gears spinning. All right, and Dinosaur Cat. Okay, so you get a whale wolf, and there are Dinosaur Cat tokens. So there's going to be something that makes Dinosaur Cats. I gotta say, Dinosaur Cat doesn't excite me the same way that whale wolf does. And I'll be real, I feel like Magic leans into cats a lot now. Like it feels like there wasn't as many cats in Magic's history over time. You get a lion here or there, but they seem to be like really hitting the cats a lot now. I mean, we can see from the fact that they put out the Oh My God Kitties secret lair. They know their cats are the way to the internet's heart, but Dinosaur Cat token for some reason doesn't really excite me. The final point that we have here is a single legendary card that brings back and uses experience counters, not one of the 8 named mechanics they're bringing back. So if you're not familiar with experience counters, that was something interesting that they tried out with 1 year of commander decks, where your commanders generate experience counters. Now you get the experience counters as the player. It's one of the weird things that give player counters, but then you get a benefit from those experience counters. So there was one of those in the International Women's Day secret lair that we took a look at that was based on experience counters. But it's an interesting concept because the counters that you can build up on a player that can't really be removed are an interesting but also dangerous space to play around in, because there should always be answers to things in Magic the Gathering. That's one of the problem with Planeswalker emblems, is there are no ways to get rid of Planeswalker like emblems. You just can't do it. There are some people who are just like, nah, because look at Karn can do that because he resets the game. Well, I guess it's not the same game now, is it? So that's like saying conceding gets rid of emblem counters. That argument doesn't work, right? So you should always have answers to things in Magic the Gathering. There should always be a way to undo what's been done. Even if it's difficult, even if it's not available to every color, you should have answers. And I think emblems is one of the things in Magic where they do need answers. But either way, I imagine that this is going to be probably the head of one of the commander decks. I'm guessing. I could be wrong, though. I mean, maybe building a commander deck around an experience concept when you only have one experience creature might not actually be the best deal. But either way, those are all of the teasers for apparently Ikoria Commander that we have for today. Let me know what you think the cards will be down in the comments below. I mentioned earlier in the video that I had something tying into this. Well, this is a kimono joke. And for those of you who are saying, oh no, you don't have to say kimono in the video because YouTube has said it's totally okay to say the non-kimono version of it, you know? You guys know what's going on. Kimono's causing a lot of problems in the world, right? So there are channels that are totally getting nailed for not calling it things like kimono. You call it what it is, and YouTube's going hammer strike. And part of the reason for that is YouTube's actually gone more automated than usual. As creators, we actually got notifications telling us in the studio, heads up guys, we're sending more people home, more stuff is going to be automated, and as a result, there's a higher likelihood of your videos getting nailed. And that, I mean, that unfortunately sucks, but that's aside from what it is. What I want to do is have some fun with it. We commemorated the Oko situation with Oko merch, Oko t-shirts and all that. So here's what I want to do. I want to do something with kimono. I want to add a kimono something to the merch shop. So I'm thinking like, my idea is Kimono Crew. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Both start with a K on a t-shirt. Pretty simple, maybe with my logo on there, but that's what I'm thinking. So I invite you to let me know what you would like to see as kimono merch. What kind of an idea do you have for that, for us to commemorate what's going on in the world right now? So let me know in the comments below. Big shout out to my patrons and channel members. An extra shout out to Locke for going ahead and upping his Patreon pledge. Thank you very much, my friend. Most people are heading in the other direction, so it's nice to have that kind of increase to help out the channel. So everyone, thanks for coming by. I'm glad to be able to do what I do here, and I will see all of you people tomorrow.